Hi, my family members. I have come with another new video. Watch the full video, and to show your love, please subscribe my channel. Without wasting any time, let's start the video.
Everything would begin on the planet Vegeta. King Vegeta with his subordinates were watching all the babies in their brooding capsules, noticing someone very peculiar, which seemed to have a higher power than all the others. But he didn't want to believe it and wanted to measure the power of this baby. But every tracker that tried to measure it broke. After this, King Vegeta understood that someone like that meant a great danger to the planet Vegeta and the race of the Saints. So he decided to send him to another planet far away from that place, and he would order him to be sent to the planet Vampa, a planet which was very desolate and full of ferocious creatures, with the intention that Broly would not survive long enough in that place. His father, Paragus, would find out about this, and it would happen just like the original story. Very astute to look for Broly, putting the coordinates of his desolate planet thanks to the other Zeno that informed him that Broly's ship had gone to that planet. Meanwhile, in the same way also, Bardock and Gine would send Goku away. Bardock knew about the planet Earth and how safe it was for a Saiyan like Goku, so he would send him to that place. Some time had passed and Paragus would arrive at that planet, but he would also realize that Broly was not there. Since he didn't feel his presence and his scouter couldn't locate him. "Janet, where's my son Broly? He should be in this place." Gohan and those beasts ate him. At the same time, Paragus thought, no, it's not possible. My son couldn't die like that. He would have known how to defend himself. He has an enviable power. The other Saiyan noticed that Paragus was looking at him a little annoyed and would ask him, "What's going on, sir? What are you thinking so much? Why are you looking at me like that? We lied and we couldn't do. Damn you. I knew I couldn't trust them, but why would you send us to the wrong place, you lying bastard?" "What are you talking about, sir? We'll swear that ship was going to this planet. I put the coordinates of that ship by orders of Team Vegeta. It's impossible for it not to be here." "Shut up. Surely you're not trying to help Team Vegeta." "No, sir, seriously, it's not like that. I have nothing to gain by lying to you." Paragus, annoyed, would take out his weapon and kill him. He would try to escape from the planet, but he discovered that the ship was broken and that there was no way to fix it. So he was stranded on that planet alone. The reason why Broly's ship didn't land on that planet was the fault of another person, external to the Saiyans. Daishin Khan was traveling through the universes because he intended to observe if all the gods were doing their job properly. But something peculiar stole Daishin Khan's attention at that moment. Two ships had passed very close to him and at a great speed, creating a great curiosity in the priest. And with his powers, he would stop the two ships. Because of this sudden break in both ships, the two babies had been shot into space. Daishin Khan wanted to check that both could survive a blow like that. In that instant, Daishin Khan covered them with a special barrier that would allow them to continue living. Daishin Khan wanted to realize if it was worth taking them with him, and if they'd been humans, they wouldn't have survived something like that. This blow to the head caused the same thing in Goku as it had caused in the original line, where he had gone to Earth. Daishin Khan noticed that one of them had an incredible power for the age he had, but nevertheless, the other seemed to be very weak. Despite this, the priest decided to take both Saiyans to the planet of Zeno somewhere, but trying to pass it off as an accident. So he restored the ship of both Saiyans and put them back in them, so that Zeno-sama thought that they had landed on his planet. So Daishinkan was with Zeno-sama in his palace, informing him about the universes, when both would hear a loud bang outside that had caused the palace to shake. So both would come out and Zeno-sama would see that the two ships had landed on his planet, leaving him somewhat intrigued. How did these ships come from? How did they land in a place so far away as this? Did someone send them here? No, that's not possible. It's impossible to access this place with a tool as simple as that. Read Zeno-sama, do not break your head thinking about it. I, like you, am also surprised. Surely it must have been a failure in the ship. It could have fallen into a wormhole and fell into this place. Remember that wormholes lead to any place in reality. It doesn't explain how two ships fell in this place. If it had only been that chance, only one would have fallen, but instead two fell. This is not a matter of luck. There's something more here. Sir, I see her doubting a lot. I'll understand if you want me to get rid of them. There's no problem. Zeno-sama would see the babies that were inside of the ships and would also refuse to what Daishin Khan said, and chose to keep them. So Daishin Khan, with a slight smile, thought it came out just as I imagined. Daishin Khan would take both babies out of the ship, and Zeno-sama would play with them. He thought of some names for the Saiyans, thinking of common one Daishin Khan. But then he decided for Goku, and the other one he'd been able to say his name so they would call him Broly, like the planet Vegeta. In a very short time, Zeno-sama had become attached to those two children, and they seemed to have a great appreciation for Zeno-sama after a while. Zeno-sama chose to keep them and tell Daishin Khan to train them. so he would do it. Both were children, and Daishinkan realized that unlike Goku, who loved to train and fight, Broly was somewhat shy and didn't like fighting. But he wanted to continue training with Daishinkan, seeing that Goku did it too. As time went by, they began to realize that Broly increased his power much faster than Goku. The power that the boy Broly was reaching was overwhelming for someone with so few years of life, while Goku had been able to almost completely control the Super Saiyan. Impressive, but Saiyan Broly's very unique. He doesn't seem to be someone ordinary in his race. As far as I can tell, he's someone very different. I want to know why this Saiyan is unique and different from the others of his kind. I'll go find out myself on that planet. Daishinkan would go to the planet Vegeta, but he would notice something that left him disconcerted. And that's that the planet where all the Saiyans lived had been totally destroyed. Can't be. This planet was disintegrated. Maybe I should use my power and look into the past of this place to know the history of both Saiyans. At that moment, Daishinkan's eyes would turn white, and in his mind he'd see how things happen, and the history, from beginning to end, of that planet in a couple of seconds. So he could observe the hundreds and hundreds of years of history of the same race. Realizing thanks to this that Broly was a prodigy being who was born every 1,000 years among them, and that Goku had been sent by his parents to Earth because they supposed the destruction of the planet itself and wanted to save them. Daishin Khan had returned to the palace of Zeno-sama, and so he had understood everything about both the Saiyans. He would avoid telling these Saiyans about the destruction of their planet along with their race because it could be very harmful to them, so he preferred to keep it to himself. He would explain to Goku that if he were to be stronger than Broly, he would have to train much harder than him. And this was something that Goku was very excited about, to be someone stronger than Broly, because he knew of Broly's enormous capacity. Both Saiyans would get along very well, treating each other like brothers as they were growing up together. Several more years of training would have passed, in which Goku had listened to Daishin Khan and trained much harder with the priest, while Broly just preferred to do anything else. Goku had already managed to obtain the power of a god, thus mastering the divine key, and thus entering the realm of gods. Zeno-sama told Daishin Khan to teach them the basics of divine key and how to use it, so Goku could access it thanks to him. Zeno-sama was proud to see the power that this Saiyan Goku had, but on the other hand, a little disappointed by the poor performance of Broly in training. Broly, in spite of everything, chose not to train. Daishin Khan wanted to look for a reason to make him upset, because he wanted to see how powerful he was. But it was really difficult to make someone like Broly, who lives in a very clean environment, far from danger, angry. However, Daishin Khan remembered what happened on the planet Vegeta. It seems that this is the only way to make Broly angry. If it were otherwise, I would have to lie. That goes against my principles. I must tell him the truth. At that moment, Daishin Khan would confess to Broly, but he forgot that Goku was also near and would hear everything. Daishin Khan had said, "Broly, I must tell you something. It's really important." "What's up, Mr. Daishin Khan? Can't you see that I'm watching the planets?" "It's about your race. Some time ago, I decided to go and visit that planet, and I realized that it had been destroyed." At that moment, Broly would turn around and his expression had changed to one of complete seriousness. Daishin Khan thinking, "I get it. It worked." From Broly's eyes would come out some tears. But from one moment to another, a great spring would be heard all over the palace. Broly would start to increase his power in a huge way. The whole place would start to shake. On Goku's part, this didn't really matter to him because he didn't remember anything about his planet and his parents. But Broly did. Goku didn't care, but he was glad to see how Broly increased his power more, and he was glad. "Finally, I can have a worthy fight with my brother Broly." Broly had completely lost control and only thought of attacking. So he would attack Daishin Khan, but Goku stepped in and stopped him, which caused Broly to turn his eyes of anger towards his brother Goku. In that instant, Goku would use his God state and try to stop Broly. Even though Broly was angry, Goku was superior to him, and he would grab him by the legs and throw him towards Zeno-sama. But the Guardians quickly interceded and grabbed Broly. Goku would ask them to let him go, but the Guardians did not agree. Zeno-sama, annoyed, told him, "I told you to let him go. That's an order." The Guardian of Zeno-sama, scared, would let him go, making Broly attack Goku again. But Goku was very fast. He dodged all the blows of Broly. "That happens to you for not training, Broly, for being lazy." Broly didn't listen. He continued increasing his power. And little by little, Goku was being overcome by Broly. He would manage to hit Goku with a dead blow that made him spit. But how? It's not possible. Broly at that time had surpassed Goku. He would start to drag him on the floor, taking him by the hair. Daishinkan and Zeno would be astonished to see the enormous power of Broly. In spite of training almost never, he had completely surpassed Goku, who had trained his hardest every day. Goku was happy about this, but then everything had gotten out of his hands, and Broly had taken control of the fight completely. Broly wouldn't stop and was hurting Goku a lot, so Daishin Khan had to intervene, which would give him an accurate hit on Broly's head, which made him unconscious in an instant. Goku had untransformed because of this, so Daishin Khan would heal his wounds. Broly would wake up later, but he was already calmer, and it seemed that he didn't remember anything. Although, better Daishin Khan preferred to tell Goku, as well as his story, and where he came from. Learning about the death of his parents, but Daishin Khan had made a big mistake telling him this.